Hello and welcome back to another episode of Flatwoods Hunting Adventures. So I've got a special episode for you today. After my last video, I did some thinking. I wanted to do some ballistic comparison of some of the slugs and pellets that I had on hand with what we shot with the 250-60 FN. So yesterday I did a little bit of homework and I put up a 5-target test to get my different points of impact. Now, I don't know what you know about bullets, but with the twist rate in rifles, the longer the bullet, the more effect that twist rate is going to have on the projectile. So the point of impact is going to be different, and I don't want to be dialing up and down and up and down. So I was shooting some groups yesterday and figuring out where I needed to hold today for this test. I spent some time in Photoshop today and I created a target that I plan on using T-pins and putting in my ballistic gel, and we're going to shoot 5 different projectiles and we are going to see which one has the most penetration, the most expansion, the most foot-pounds of energy, and the most speed. I will go ahead and tell you, you can probably guess the lighter the bullet, the more speed it's going to have, and the heavier the bullet, the more foot-pounds of energy it's going to have. And I will tell you all about that in the wrap-up. It was pretty impressive when I did the math today. I was almost jaw-slacked at the difference between the lightest and the heaviest of the foot-pounds of energy that I was getting out of the Condor. I'm not going to give any spoilers. I have a little issue with my green-coated slugs. My ballistic radar does not want to pick them up. So I'm going to try to connect a microphone to my Labdar today. So with this suppressed one, I can use a sound trigger instead of relying on a ballistic radar. It's just not wanting to pick it up. So we'll see. I don't know whether we'll get the true speed. I will tell you one speed of all the ones that I've shot before prior to being coated, they were in the 760 to 769 foot per second range. So we've got 5 that we're going to test today. We've got the HN Barracuda. This is the, I want to say it's, oh my, I might need my glasses, 27.47 grain. So this is a hollow point Barracuda hunting pellet. We've got, and it's not exactly fair because this is the only one that is not a hollow point, but we've got the Exact King Heavies, which are 33.95 grains. We've got my hollow point 250-60 FN from NOE that I'm casting and coating. We've got the FX hybrid slugs, which are the 26 grain. These shoot really well, by the way. And the NSA. NSA is a fantastic company if you don't have access to molding, or you don't want to, or rather casting your own and you don't want to mess with it. Any of these will work, but NSA is a boutique, I would call it, a boutique bullet maker, does some incredible stuff. And these are, let's see, they are 43.5 grain NSA hollow point slugs. So we've got 3 different slugs and we've got 2 different pellets, one with the hollow point and then the JSP Exact Kings that are pretty much industry standard. A lot of people like them. They shoot lights out. So here's what we're going to be shooting at. We're going to put 5 different ones in the ballistic gel and we will see what they've got. So let me move some of this equipment out to the range. It's a little windy today, but I think I can pull it off and we'll get this thing going. So the first step in this process is I want to see if this mic is going to work. I don't even know, and I need to get a 0 as well. We got a little bit different wind condition today. I don't know if this is going to work, but I would love for it to pick it up. So I have a microphone just at the muzzle down there, and we're going to get a 0. And if not, we're going to go with the numbers that we had from yesterday or from my last video with the non-coated ones. So it is not fully charged. It's at about 2,600 PSI. So this is the NOE 60 FN coated. we're gonna get in some wind here. See what my flags are doing. Little switch going on. I don't know if that's going to affect it that much. It's pretty gentle. So here we go. It did not trigger. All right. So given that condition, I'm about 1 minute of angle to the right. I'm actually going to dial to the hole. Well, I feel like we're going to chase this wind all day. It would be nice to have a calm day, huh? So I'm going to dial to the hole. Gun is back on 0. All right, this should get us pretty close. And I'm really concerned it's such a small target that we might have an issue putting all 5 in the gel, but we'll see. Oh yeah, that wind's going to be a big issue. Should have left it alone. Just kind of studying wind right here. All right. There we go. All right. So I've got the condition that I'm going to be looking for. Let's set up some gel, and then I'll do my Kentucky windage. May take a minute. You're going to have to wait for that condition to return. And if it doesn't, we'll just re-zero. So I'm going to leave that target down there. I'm going to pump up my gun and set up my ballistic gel on my GoPro, and we'll be right back. As you can see, there's just too much going on down there for my radar. I've got wind flags down there. I've got my GoPro down there. I've got a really reflective target, which is probably what's messing with my LabDAR here. But I need to shoot, and we got some really switching winds, so maybe I can pull this off. We're going to find out. Let me go ahead and cut this ballistic radar off. All right, we're getting close to my condition. So up first is the NOE 250. As long as I can keep it in the white, I should be good. Here we go. Way high, but that's fine. We know where it is. I am going to dial to that condition. So that was the NOE. I knew these winds would play havoc today. I feel like that's my crosswind, but in order to do the Kentucky windage that I need to do to pull this off, we're going to have to go. So next up is going to be the one that I know should be pretty close to the same one as my NOE. And this one is the NSA. As long as I can get them all 5 in the gel in different places, we should be good. Probably should have picked a less windy day, but sometimes you don't get that luxury. So NSA. I'm going to put the NSA in the top left. Trying to judge the wind here. There we go. Probably help if I took the safety off and my conditions changed. I gotta wait for it. Wow, here we go. Okay, got an NSA, different place in the gel. Next up, now I've got to look at my notes here, is going to be the Match King, and we're going to go for the heavy Match King, and we're going to go for the top right. I'm going to have to hold one line down, and I'm going to have to hold 1.75 to the right. One down. That's crazy. I'm on the edge of the gel. Here we go. One down. 1 point. Oh, that's 1.5. There's 1.75 to the right. Conditions pretty close. Oh, I clipped the gel. Went out the edge of the block, it looks like. I'm going to take another and I'm going to change that hold. Up and down is fine. Just the left and right has to do with my wind. So I'm going to bring it dead on. Here we go. There we go. So it looks like we got some pretty decent penetration. Looks like it went out the back of the block. Alright, so next up, we've got the Barracuda. And the hold should be 1.75 down, so this is the H&N Barracuda. If I can open it. There we go. So this is the Barracuda. It is a hollow point. So I'm going to go bottom left. 1.75 down, and it was calling for 2 to the right. I'm shooting actually at my table. Gosh, I hope I don't hit it. I'm going to hold 1 because that's pretty consistent. 1.75 down, and I'm going to hold 1 to the right. This is on the bottom left. Nailed it. And then last up is going to be the hollow point FX hybrid slug. And so they're great. Super accurate. And for this one, I'm going to have to hold 3 lines down, and I'm going to use the same one hold that I did for the other one. So 3 lines down. So this is going to be on the right target. 3 and 1. 3 lines down. You can see I'm actually holding on the table in the scope cam. This is crazy. Wind conditions pretty close. And we did it. Guys, I was super excited to try this test. I just hope that we caught them all. You would know the wind would pretty much die by the time I got done. But that's okay. Maybe we caught them. I'm a little concerned with the jug bubbling down here. Let's see. All right. We do have a jug bubbling here. All right. So we have an FX. We've got 4 for sure. Oh, wow. Looks like we had one go all the way through. That was the top right. And both of them actually hit the gel. Oh, well, so I didn't miss the gel. Where is it in there? Sorry, I have to go over my target. Oh yeah, look at there. All right, so we have all 5. So now we can do some comparisons. So I'm gonna pull this ballistic gel and we'll go inside and we're gonna dig them out and see what we got. All right, guys, we've got the gel block back inside and we actually caught all 5. The one was not in the block, and that was our Exact King Heavy. So I'll show you what it started life as. So this, if I can get the camera to focus, and I do apologize. This is what it started as. And although it was not in the block, it did penetrate entirely 11.5 inches through the block, and I've already poured the water out, but there it is. So you can see there's no expansion really whatsoever. That's a little disappointing. I thought being soft lead that it would go, and I say no expansion, I want to measure for you. So that is the one that I just pulled out of the tin. As you can see, that is a 2.42. And then this is the one, and you can tell with the rifling that 2.51. So very minimal expansion. Now that bullet, or that pellet rather, was traveling at 911 feet per second. And we're going to say that it penetrated 11 plus inches. So that is the Match King Heavy, which is the 25 cal, and the weight on that is 33.95 grains. Next up, we're going to talk about this one. This is the FX Hybrid. Now, the FX Hybrid are these, and they start life at 26 grains. First of all, it penetrated a total. I'll try to go to the other side. So it penetrated a total of, let's see, we'll say 3.53 is what it's going to look like here. 3.53 inches. And it started off life looking like this. So that is what it originally started life as. Notice it is a hollow point. And it shouldn't surprise us too much that the Game King or the Exact King Heavy didn't expand, given that it wasn't a hollow point. This one actually is. So 3.53 inches, and it was coming out of the barrel at 929 feet per second, which is our fastest. And so we're going to cut this one out right here. See if I can dig my finger in there and get it out. So we have a very, very flat hybrid slug now. And the measurement on this one is going to be 0.417. So that's the FX hybrid slug. So next up we have the H&N Barracuda 27.5 grain. And as you can see, this one is right there in the block. And it penetrated, I have to flip my hand around again here. Let's see. It penetrated, looks to be, let me move the camera a little bit so maybe you can see. We are at about 3.7 inches. So 3.7 inches for the H&N Barracuda. Before, we had 0.249, and we're going to cut him out here. That one's a little deeper. So we started life as 0.249. And now we're 0.383. So 0.383. So 3.7 and 0.383 on the Barracuda, and that's a 27.5 grain. It's also feet per second on that was 976. So actually, that was the fastest of the lot, was the H&M Barracuda, 976. So next up is our 43.5 grain NSA. And from the ones that actually made it in the gel and didn't go all the way through, that one did have the most penetration. It left the barrel at 813 feet per second. And we're gonna have to do this twice. So there's 6 inches, 6.04 to there. And then you've got and you won't be able to see that, you've got 0.415. So So 6.45 is what we ended up with. 6.45 inches of penetration. And this one should be pretty easy to get out. So it started life looking like a standard hollow point. I measured that ogive earlier, or the metlet rather, and it was 0.171. And so here it is. We're going to cut it out right there on the edge. It took quite a dip. And so this is what it looks like. Pretty decent expansion there. And then measured, it's 0.380. So 0.380 on that bullet. And that was the NSA 43.5 slug. So this last one that we've got is going to be the NOE 25060 FN. So, sorry, 5.503. This is how it started life. It was leaving the barrel at 763, which is the slowest of the bunch. Let's cut it out. Oh wow, I think that's our winner on expansion. So let's see what that expansion is. I think it's also probably got it on wound cavity too, even though it was not as fast. So that's 0.455. So that is definitely the largest expansion. So 0.455, 763 feet per second. And then we had 5.5 inches of penetration. So we're going to kind of look at some of these wound cavities if we can see them. Really, the two most impressive wound cavities are going to be the NSA, and it's maybe hard to see on camera for sure. That was the NOE. The NOE has the largest wound cavity easily, and I don't know if you're going to be able to make that on the block. Second looks like the NSA, and they started opening at about the same time. So this is the NSA right here. This was the NOE. All right, so I got them all arranged for you in the most expansion to the least expansion. So this is how the NSA starts life. This is what it ended up, which is a 0.455. So NOE right here. This is the FX hybrid slug, which was the fastest. It had the second most expansion at a 0.417, pretty mangled. In third place was the HN. So this is the HN. You can see it's a hollow point, and it ended up being 0.383. Fourth place is going to be NSA, which is a swedged bullet. And so there it is. And that ended up being 0.380. And then this is an unfired Match King heavy. And there is the fired one. And with the exception of the little divots around the skirt, you can hardly tell that was fired. You might could fire that one again. Well, no, maybe not. So there you have it. So NOE, FX, H&N, NSA, and then this is the JSB Diablo Match King Heavy. Guys, the fairest way that I know how to do this is to create categories and rank them from highest to lowest in speed, grain, foot-pounds of energy, penetration, the wound cavity, as well as expansion. So we got 5 criterion, and we're going to go through them real quick. So speed, first place, we've got the H&N. Second place is the FX. Third place is the Match King. Fourth place is the NSA, and the slowest is going to be the NOE. Now, as far as grain is concerned, in first place, the highest is going to be NOE. The second is going to be NSA. Third is going to be the Match King. Fourth, the H&N. Fifth, the FX. From foot-pounds of energy, we're going to have NOE in first place, NSA in second. We're going to have the Match King Heavy in third, H&N in fourth, and then the FX Hybrid in fifth. So when it comes to penetration, the most penetration was the one that did not expand, and that was the Diablo Match King. In second place, as far as penetration is concerned, we had the NSA. Third place penetration is going to be the NOE. There was about an inch difference in those two. The H&N comes in fourth place, and then the FX comes in fifth. And that's pretty interesting. I'll get to that in a second. In wound cavity, the NOE by far had the largest wound cavity. NSA had the second largest wound cavity. Third place was the H&N. Fourth place was the FX. And then fifth place was the Exact King. In expansion, we have got NOE going first as far as the most expansion. FX coming in second. We've got the H&N coming in third. We have the NSA coming in fourth. And then the Exact King did not open at all. So with all those 5 criteria, with 4 first places, we have grain, foot-pounds of energy, wound cavity, as well as expansion, comes the NOE. In second place, coming with second place wins in grain, foot-pounds of energy, penetration, as well as wound cavity, is the NSA. In third place, I would say definitely the Match King, the pellet. It won third place in speed, grain, as well as foot-pounds of energy. In fourth place comes the H&N. Very, very accurate. I like it. But it's fourth place in grain. It's fourth place in foot-pounds of energy. And it is fourth place in penetration. In fifth place, and I'll have to get back to this, grain, FX, foot-pounds of energy, FX, and penetration, FX. Now, with that said, if I were in an urban environment, I would seriously, strongly consider, if I were trying to take care of some rodent birds or something, or maybe shooting rats in an enclosed barn or something, I would really probably consider the FX. It was the fastest and it had the most expansion with the least penetration, so I think it would be safe for something like that. But my first place by far is going to be the NOE. Even though it was the slowest, it edges out everything else in the category and a real close on penetration between these two. These were both recovered. This was recovered on my last video. And this one right here was recovered today. Now you might be asking what kind of accuracy? Well, how about 0.242? That is a 10-shot .242 with the NOE. They are all accurate, and you cannot take that away from any one of them. So the homegrown is .242. These, with a little tuning, I'm positive will shoot the same hole. These do shoot the same hole, and these are very close. So they're all extremely accurate. So my first place is definitely going to be the NOE coded for me. Now, you might have a different opinion. It's just how I chose to rank them, and it was the fairest way that I knew how. So with all that said, if you like this video, please make sure that you check out my other videos. Please make sure that you like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again.